What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back with another video. And today it has been a little bit too long, but we are finally going into Reddickard's predictions. Guys, if you are not following the posts I've been putting up, not looking at the Discord, then you guys don't understand that my apartment doesn't have Wi-Fi yet. So I've been trying to use the Wi-Fi at my new apartment. And the complex, my Mac hasn't been too friendly with connecting to the Wi-Fi. So now we're rolling. I think that hopefully we can continue connecting to the Wi-Fi. It took a lot of work, so that's why I'm going to make a couple videos for you guys right now. So at least we have a couple things in until Tuesday when I get that Wi-Fi. So if you guys are new, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. You know what that, what all that stuff is. We make content every day that we have Wi-Fi. So let's get into it. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys are the team that is probably the most vocal. Them, the 49ers, those are probably my two biggest vocal fan groups. So, we're going to be going by division, and we're starting off with the NFC East, pretty sure. So we gotta take a quick look at the Dallas Cowboys roster, right? We look at the quarterback. You got Dak. We look at the running back position. You got Zeke Elliott. You got Tony Pollard. We got all their contracts right here as well, which will be very beneficial to us when trying to look at who we're going to be, who we're going to try to like gauge in terms of when it comes to our team drafts, when we're going to try to figure out who's going to be coming up for a contract, who should we be gauging. But for right now, we got Amari Cooper, CD Lamb, Simi Fehoko, Michael Gallup. That's a pretty damn good wide receiver squad right there, if you ask me. TJ Vasher, another sneaky option that they picked up in UDFA. So obviously last year when I did this, I just spouted off dudes from the top of my head. I want to make sure y'all understand that we got all the stuff right here. Also, Nick Eubanks, he was a UDFA. That's quite surprising to me. But looking at the tight end group, it's not a great one. Gonna be honest, I'm not really a fan of any of these dudes at all. So that's just my opinion on it. But that's definitely a position of need that we're gonna have to address either in the draft or else in free agency. Tackle wise, we got a lot of dudes who are good depth. Obviously, that's not the only guys. You got Ty Secchi here, Lyle Collins, as well as, of course, our stud Tyron Smith at left tackle. Quarterback, we got some good depth. Praying that Dak can come back and be himself, but we already know the offensive line is looking good. It's not maybe the Travis Frederick era, but it's close to it. You still got Zach Martin there. And then the kid that they have Connor Williams there. I'm trying to remember the center. He's at the bottom of the list. Tyler Biadasz. So you guys have a pretty good offense, right? That's what the whole entire story of last season at the start was. Dak was on pace for 6,000 yards. So the offense is fine. Now we got to look at the defense. So if we want to look at the defensive line, it's definitely something that we got to pay attention to because obviously you guys don't have Aldon Smith anymore. That's kind of an issue. So you got DeMarcus Lawrence, and then your next best guy is Bradley Anae. It's a tough one because Chauncey Golston, I don't really know why you guys drafted him in the third round, but you did. And there's not really much depth there. So pass rush is going to be a big issue. So when we see the Cowboys go up against teams with a pretty good defense and a solid offensive line, I'm probably going to be leaning towards that other team. Defensive line-wise, you got Neville Gallimore on the interior, but again, I just don't really see much more. Tristan Hill coming up to his last year's of his contract hasn't really blown up in my eyes. So there's a lot of needs here. Obviously, we got to look at the linebacking core. That's probably the bright spot of the squad right now. You got Anthony Hines. Interesting. I did not know he went undrafted. But you got Leighton Vander Esch. You obviously have Jalen Smith. You guys are okay. You guys are okay. Oh, I forgot Micah Parsons. So yeah, and then Jabril Cox, and you also have the safeties that you got from Atlanta. I believe Keanu Neal should be listed as a linebacker, but I don't see him here. They probably list him as a safety. But I remember they did sign him under the idea that he was going to be a linebacker. Right now, I'm just trying to preoccupy you guys. But yeah, safety-wise, they got DeMonte Casey. That's a great signing, obviously a one-year signing. And then they have Keanu Neal, who they did say was a linebacker, but can play strong safety. Donovan Wilson, perfectly fine as well. But the story is the cornerback situation. Obviously, Anthony Brown, slot corner. Jordan Lewis is okay, but obviously it was a pretty big emphasis that you guys needed cornerback. Trevon Diggs, he's good, but I think he should be a number 2. But right now, he's definitely the number 1 guy. And then we got. Oh, I'm surprised they got Israel Muguama. That's a good signing, but I'm looking for Kelvin Joseph, who hasn't signed his deal yet. But Kelvin Joseph was your second round selection. Has personality issues, and personally, I don't think he's that good. But given the need, I think he fits. I'm praying that he works out because I'm perfectly fine being wrong because I always want players to be ballers in the league because it just means that we get to enjoy it more. So yeah, that's the entire defense, guys. Let's kick in right into the records predictions. So starting off with week 1, this is a tough one. It's a tough start. You're going up against Tampa Bay, who has a like the whole entire story was their offensive line was healthy. So you're starting off against a hard offensive, like a good offensive line, and then an elite passing attack. So I think you guys know where we're going with this. We're going with the Super Bowl champions starting up back again. Because again, Dak hasn't even like the poor guy has like one leg and we haven't even seen him yet. So I think that it's going to take a little bit of time to get comfortable. I'm perfectly fine being wrong. I am in Dallas, so you never know. Number 2, you got Dallas going to the Chargers. So there's still a hole at guard for the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken, but they have a pretty good tackle duo. That's going to be a little bit of an issue for me. And they have a really good passing attack. It's going to be definitely interesting because obviously I think that Dallas is going to be a very potent offense. They could definitely beat the Chargers, but Derwin James is coming back. The Chargers had a great draft. Obviously, losing Casey Hayward does hurt, though. So there's some back and forth. Asante Samuel Jr. should be playing slot. That's why he fell so far. So you look at Chris Harris as your main guy on the outside. That kind of hurts a bit. Obviously, you got Nasir Adderley and then Derwin James being there in that backfield. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one because you got Joey Bosa coming in as well, and your entire offensive line should be healthy by week 1. That's the only problem with doing these way too early is that you don't know what injuries are going to pop up, which more content to create in case that happens. But given the situation, it's going to be Sunday, and then the Chargers are going to be at home. I think Dallas is going to have a little bit of a hard start, but that's okay. It's perfectly fine because the next week Philadelphia is going to Dallas, and it's a great game every time. But I think Dak is a bit more ready for the bright lights than Jalen Hurts, and Philadelphia still has a lot of issues. I think Dallas can take the cake there. Number 4, Carolina going to Dallas. Carolina's a sneaky good team, but I personally don't have that much faith in Sam Darnold. They have an elite wide receiver core. Offensive line could use some work, and I think Brady Christensen was a terrible, terrible selection. But I mean, that's my opinion on Brady Christensen. I think Dallas steals it at home from Sam Darnold. I don't know if Sam Darnold's going to have too good of a year. Number 5, we get the Giants going to Dallas, and the Giants have a lethal team as well. But I'll say this over and over again: I don't think Daniel Jones is ready for the bright lights. So Dallas, 3 weeks at home, 3 wins in a row. I think this team is powerful enough to be able to deal with it. New York has a big hole at guard and could be weak at tackle spot if those guys don't develop. Same thing with Carolina. They have a gaping hole, low-key, at left tackle, and then on the interior of the offensive line. Philadelphia, we don't even know if they're ever going to be healthy for 1 moment of their entire life. Dallas then going to New England. So obviously New England has the upper hand here. Bill Belichick, better coach. Entire offensive line's great. You have now Mac Jones, which I think he's going to be a great distributor of the ball, especially in the scheme. It was there or San Francisco where you'd have the most success. And I think that with New England being able to basically like get every inch out of their players, I think that they might be able to scrape the victory here. Again, you're in Foxborough. If it's Sunday night, it's Sunday midday game, but like I think that obviously these games are probably going to be midday as well. Yeah, they are. But regardless, I think that these games should still remain in Dallas's favor. New England will take the cake. They'll take the cake. So obviously we got a bye week, and then Dallas is coming into a fully rested Minnesota. So the question is, what is Minnesota going to do? They got a star left tackle in Christian Darsaw by trading back. I don't know how they did it. And then they filled their guard spot with Wyatt Davis. They have a pretty damn good squad, but they have a shit pass rush. They still have not addressed the pass rush. And to me, you lost Anthony Harris as well. I think Dallas, fully rested, can beat Minnesota. Next, we got Denver going to Dallas. You have Drew Lock. That's all I got to say. Atlanta, Dallas, that's going to be a fun game because both teams are supercharged, possibly the best receiving core in the NFL right here with Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, if you want to bring him into it, Hayden Hurst, as well as Julio Jones. But then Dallas, you're at home, and like your team, the offensive line for Atlanta is not that shabby, but it's not great. It's a tough one. It's a tough game, but both teams are dome teams. I think Atlanta's going to take the cake on that one. I think their defense is pretty rough though. Yeah, their defense is a little bit too rough for me right now. They don't even have a safety. They have Richie Grant there, but doesn't replace the fact that you don't have any other really talented safeties. So we're going to be going that one. Obviously, if I do some more studying on Atlanta, then they're going, and like I feel like they have a good enough roster to beat Dallas. This is a coin toss game, so that's definitely subject to change. At week 11, you got Dallas going to Kansas City. I think we all know where this is going. Kansas City has a fully built offensive line now. Don't know how they did it, but they did it. And then they have a pretty damn stacked defense as well. Big fan of Kansas City this year. They're doing a great job. Number 12, Las Vegas going to Dallas. Vegas did some stupid moves in the offseason. Alex Leatherwood, I'm going to leave it there. I think we know what we're going to talk about. Dallas going to New Orleans. This is an interesting one because it really depends on how Jameis Winston plays this year. But I think that Jameis Winston ain't going to do too hot. Dallas taking the cake. Again, this is all barring injuries. Like this is saying these teams are fully healthy. Obviously, Philadelphia, I made the joke that they're probably not going to be healthy. But even with a fully healthy offensive line, I still think they have some holes that they need to be able to deal with. And that includes age with their center spot. So, I think that Dallas could take the cake on that one. Number 14, Dallas going to Washington. Again, it really depends on how Fitzmagic plays, but Washington has a damn good defensive front. They have a damn good offensive line. And their wide receiver core is looking really, really good as well. I think this team's ready to play and ready to win. So I'm choosing Washington there. Dallas is going to sweep New York. This is just a feeling. Really think that Daniel Jones is going to become overwhelmed and the pressure is going to get a little bit too much because he has a lot of stuff on his plate right now. People are expecting New York to get to the playoffs. Don't think they're going to do it. Really don't. I think this is Daniel Jones last year and he just knows it. Washington going to Dallas. This is a fun one because, again, Washington had the home advantage. I think Dallas could pull this one out on Washington. And I think that Fitzmagic can't pull twice on Dallas. We're going to go Dallas on this one. So we're seeing a pretty big game. By the way, guys, I think this is an auto-generated 19th game. And that's got to be the wild card round. So that's not going to be part of it. Week 17, Arizona goes to Dallas. Now, Arizona has a damn good pass rush. They have a solid enough offensive line, especially Kelvin Beachum Marcus Gilbert coming back from opt-out. I think Arizona is going to be red hot going into the playoffs because they're going to realize that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be like, oh, shit, my job's on the line because I have a talented team. AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, you guys know what's up. So Arizona is going to be sneaking a dub right there. Then Dallas going to Philly. That's an interesting one because the question is, how is Philly going to do? If they're not doing well at that part of the season, you don't know how Jalen Hurts is going to be feeling. You don't know the morale of the team. It's going to be a fun game, but unfortunately, we do know Dallas doesn't do too well at the end of the season. So they're going to be losing to Philadelphia because those games are always super close. But yeah, this is an auto-generated game right here. So that is going to be the record, guys. Obviously, it's way too early. We'll update it as time goes on. And we're just going to have a good time. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Again, if you guys are new, please hit the sub button. I'm sorry for you guys having to wait so long. I appreciate you guys waiting on it because trust me, I definitely would not have wanted to make you guys wait because I'm a daily guy. I like to do daily content for y'all. So hit the like button, comment, subscribe. You know what to do. See you on the far side. Peace.